and welcome to a Lefty Knitter podcast. This is episode 243. My name is Aquila. I come to you from Baltimore, Maryland. Husband, kids, cats, fish, all the things. And this is a podcast mostly about anything yarn related, fiber related, etc. I am a knitter at heart, but I also dabble in crochet and using my sock machine and doing all the things. So let's just jump into it. I feel like you guys are awfully high. And the cat is trying to get in. And guess what? She's not coming. That's Luna, our three-legged cat. Today is Saturday, June 29th, and I have been inconsistent with recording, and life has just kind of taken over. She's gonna keep beating at the door. I made notes because it's been 2 weeks, I believe, since I've recorded anything. And it's, like I said, life has been lifing and life has been taking over all aspects of everything. And it's been busy and I haven't gotten a lot of crafting done, but I'm here. I'm here now. And let me just show you a finished object. I had started these, I believe, for a trip. I don't remember which trip, but that's okay. It may have been for our Outer Banks trip. I can't remember. I think it was. Okay, for when we went to the Outer Banks in May, I started these. These are socks, and I use 9-inch circular needles. I love 9-inch circular needles. I use a US 1, and I started these because I like having a project that's just portable and easy. And I start with the cuff, and I go down and make a toe, and then I do a cut and heel. For most of my socks. Sometimes I'll do a heel flap and gusset, but most of them it's a cut and heel. So these were mustache yarns. The colorway is called Old Glory and they are on a sparkle base. Aren't these so great? These are so good. I did a 2x2 rib at the top and I finished them right after the last episode, I believe, because I had almost had these done and I just finished them right after the last episode when we went camping for Father's Day. So these are done and I can't wait to wear them. They're a taller sock. I have a little bit left. I don't know how much. I didn't weigh it yet, but I have to get finished object pictures and put them on Instagram. I try to link everything down below. These don't have a pattern, so I won't be linking like a specific pattern for these. I just do a top-down sock with the cut-in heel. And the cut-in turned out pretty good, and they're almost matching. So, yeah, these are really good. I like them. All right, so in the last 2 weeks, I've been helping clean out part of my dad's house, and also just, you know, work is crazy right now. I don't talk a lot about my job or what I do, but it is a very busy time for my job right now. So that's been taking over a lot of just my brain space. So I did get a very beautiful package in the mail, and this is from Tammy of Cinematic Skeins. And I messaged her and I was like, is it a self-striping? I can't tell. And I had to like, she sent me a picture and it is. So it's like a variegated stripe and a white stripe. Oh my God, it's going to be beautiful. I've never used this yarn before. It's Color Me Sheepish. And it's hand-dyed yarn, everyday sock, 75/25, 430 yards. It's called Confetti. And I'm not quite sure if I'm going to hand knit these, because I do love hand knitting the self-striping hand-dyed yarn. I will crank sometimes, but I really do enjoy the hand knitting part of something that I know took a lot of time in somebody's, you know, business. And so that's why I really do enjoy a good hand knit sock. So most of this is all my self-striping yarn, and it's gonna go in there and it'll probably be hand knit. Like a lot of the Patton's Croy and things like that I will put on my sock machine, because even though it is maybe a company that is very loyal or whatever. I'm not quite sure. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying it's not like, this is probably like a one-person job or maybe the family job, you know, so it's more personal to me to hand knit yarns like these. So thank you, Tammy. It's beautiful. I love it so much. I just don't know what, that might be my new wind it up and put in my sock bag. I do have another sock on the needles. Let's talk about that. So I wasn't sure if I would have those Old Glory socks done, and I wanted to make sure I had something ready to go. I had bought this yarn for Haze. This is a colorway I bought. I thought was really fun. Oh, here is the rest of my, oh wait, no, I have two. Hold on. I have more than that. I have two balls because they do come in two separate skeins when you get them from Mustache Yarn. So this is yarn I had never purchased from them before. I had purchased, they were having a sale, and I was like, oh, self-striping. This is Rock and String Creations, and it is called Rebel Child. It is their Jitterbug fingering. It's 80/20, and it's 400 yards. Rebel Child. I mean, look at this color. It is a 4 stripe repeat, and I am using my 9-inch circulars. Now, I am using a pattern for this, so I'll link that down below. It's called, let me make sure I have the designer right. They're called the Fruit Stripe Gum Socks by Leah Oakley. Fruit Stripe Gum. And I have made these twice before. I love this pattern. I think it's a 1-row repeat for the pattern. It's very simple. Look at that. OMG. And they are on my 9-inch circulars. It's a very simple, memorable pattern. I don't do the heel that they do in there. I will probably stop. These are for Haze. I will probably stop and do a cut-in heel, and then the foot of the sock will be stockinette. I won't do this on the foot. It'll only be on the leg. But isn't that fun? It's so much fun. So other things we've been doing is we went and saw a concert. It just kind of fell into our laps that we were able to go buy tickets like last minute, and it was 4 bands playing. I can't even recall the first band's name. The last band I can't either, which was the headliner, but we were there to see the second and third bands, and that is Bridge City Sinners. And if you Google them, I can't remember the exact name, but on like Spotify they're called like Appalachian Death Rock or Appalachian, oh my god, folk death, something like that. They're so good. I listen to them a lot on Spotify. And then we also went, the other band was, oh my god, I might have to pause and look it up because I can't remember. I will actually just put it on the screen because I'm not going to pause and look it up. They were great. And it's an individual's name. Why can I not think of it? Somewhere. They played third, and we left right after them. But Bridge City Sinners, I said OMG already. They were great. They were, the energy, everything about everything on the stage, and then even the separate band members have some of their own music on Spotify. So if you get a chance, definitely look up Bridge City Sinners. It's different music and it's real fast paced. It's just, I had a good time. John and I had a great time. We were kid free, so we were able to take advantage of that. All right, this is my sock bag that I just always keep some sort of sock yarn rolled up in there. I have one last big project that I need to show you guys that's been an ongoing whip, and you guys have seen the progress. But, yeah, I put some pictures on my Instagram stories, and some people were like, I don't really love the cuff, and I was torn on what I was doing. So this is my Heirloom quilt cardigan. I can't remember the designer's name. Again, it'll be linked down below. And I've made all the squares. I made the squares so fast. So fast. Now, I had to mattress seam them together. Now, the only thing that I didn't understand, I guess, and it was pointed out to me from a friend, we were talking about it, and I was like, yeah, why didn't the designer make So the squares, let's talk about the squares real quick. Okay, so this is a cardigan, and it's all these colorwork, stranded colorwork squares. Luna, girl, her paw is coming under the door. Okay, so all these squares, okay? I don't know why the designer didn't just opt to make them straight stockinette. Like the edges were a knit purl, so it's like garter on the edge for 2 stitches. And honestly, it was not hard to put it together with the mattress stitch. You just have to remember that when you're putting them together, one of your stitches is a knit stitch, the next one is a purl, so you're just making sure that you're following that pattern, that rhythm. That was weird. My finger felt like it went through. Oh, it's just that. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. So seaming up this direction took a little bit more concentration because you had to make sure you were seaming the knits and the purls from the garter. Sorry, I have this weird, I don't know what's going on. Just ignore it. I wasn't putting makeup on for it. Okay. So seaming the tops was much more easy, per se. But if I made this again, which I don't know, maybe one day, I would have thought about it ahead of time and probably just made it all stockinette. Just saying. But it's easier to then mattress seam it together. Maybe it's the texture that they were looking for. Maybe that was part of it. I'm not quite sure. Because the only advantage of having the garter on the sides was so it doesn't curl, but you're seaming it together anyway. So I'm not quite sure what the logic was. Okay, so here's the back. And I picked up the band. Now this is what I was talking about. Some people were like, I don't know if I like that color choice. And I was like, I'm not sure either, but that's something I can rip out if I don't love. Now, this was the main skein of the advent calendar. This was from Knitting Nakabi. It was an all naturally dyed advent calendar. This was the main skein, and because it was fingering, I had to hold it double. So what I did is I caked it up, and then I split it in half, and then I caked up the I had 2 cakes. So then I could hold 2 strands together from one cake and 2 strands together from the other and use up every single inch. Now, I had thought about making the ribbing in the mauve color, but then the sleeves wouldn't have been as long as I wanted them to be. So I opted to knit as far as I could, and then I had a decision to make. I had these were the 2 mini skeins that I had not knit into squares at all, and they were variegated. So they were almost like how these are variegated, and you can't see the pattern as well. And so that's why I had left them out. They were later in the calendar, and I left them out. And I said, well, what if I just held them together for the ribbing? And I don't hate it. I know the colors are kind of odd, but overall it goes with the whole sweater. So for now, it's staying that way. So I have used almost all of the yarn from the advent calendar. I don't have it down here with me. I have a little bit of tiny balls left of random colors, which is going to just go in my scrap bin for cranking crazy monster Frankenstein socks. I have a whole bin of just little tiny scraps that I do that with. Overall, I am super happy with how this is turning out. There's so many ends. Like, I know that is probably like scary to people. But it'll all work out. It'll all work out. So let me tell you, now you hadn't seen it put together. It's put together. I am working on, like I said, the bottom hem, and then I have to do the hem that goes around the neck. This yarn, I had a few options of yarn. I didn't want to go with any of my super bright, like hand-dyed yarns. So I pulled out a few. These are actually DK weight skeins, so I don't have to hold this double. So I had a subscription box to Maryland Lamb Co., which is a bunch of female farmers here in Maryland that all formed a co-op, and they mostly, it was like for selling meats. So they have like, you can buy lamb chops and ground lamb, and you could buy all that kind of stuff. Some of the farmers have pigs, so you could buy bacon and pork and whatnot. But at some point, you know, they have sheep. So they were getting some of the yarn milled, and I have, like, this was some of it. All my other ones are, this was an option. This was actually one of the options. I have 2 of these. But I was like, in the sun, it's very pretty, like a grayish brown. But in the sun, it was too brown for my liking for this sweater. So I went back and forth. It took me a long time to really figure it out. And then I finally just made a gut decision. This was yarn that was in the subscription box. I think I did it for 6 months. I can't remember. I can't quite remember. But I have a lot of it. None of it was actually fingering weight yarn. It was all thicker yarn, so worsted or DK, etc. I have used some of it already and made John a pair of gloves. And they were naturally, it was no dye on the yarn. And I think only one of them actually came as a dyed yarn. But I decided to use this because I liked the natural look. It's not too scratchy. This is from Crooked Fence Farm. So they must have collaborated with them, and the Crooked Fence Farm is in Upper Co, Maryland, and it is approximately 260 yards. Now, when I got this in the subscription box, I had to Google what this was, because it's 100% California red wool. If you Google these sheep, they're beautiful. They're so beautiful. And so I decided to use this. It's called Cinnamon, and it's a DK weight. Okay. Animal welfare approved. Oh, I never saw that stamp on the back. Okay. So I have 2 of these that came in my box for that same month, and it has all these flakes, if you can see, like brownish, goldish, cinnamon color, but it is a natural yarn. There's no dye on this, and I just thought it would look really great in this sweater. And I'm going to do the neck band and the bottom ribbing. I will show you a place up close if I can untangle this mess of yarn. It is a lot of ends. I know it's definitely going to be a task, but see how well it goes? I think it goes really well against all the naturally dyed yarns. I think the gray, brownish gray that I held up would have been too much contrast going on. So, all right, the rest of this podcast is pretty much going to be life stuff. This is not my normal format, and I usually am throwing different things all in together with the clips, but considering I have to record all in one right now, yeah. So reading, let's just start with that. I've watched a few things, but I've read some, well, I'm an audiobook listener. I use the app Everend, and I really enjoy it. They don't always have everything. I still use Libby, which is my local library, but I pay, it's like a subscription. It's like $12, but it's like unlimited. I can listen to as many books as I want. There's no limit. But again, not everything's available. So I have notes because I'm never going to remember. I've read like 4 books in like 2 weeks. So I'm going oldest to newest, and I will tell you, there was one in here that I really, really loved. Okay. The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. This is a story about a woman who is, she needs some help. She reaches out to her brother, and when she gets there, to his apartment, he's not there. But where he lives is very interesting and different and peculiar. And so there's a whole story that goes behind it. And I actually really did like this one. Like, the apps I use, Goodreads, everything's on Goodreads. I think I have a link down below. I list the last couple books I've read. So if you can't remember these, they're always down below. I would have given this one like a 4, maybe like 3.5, 3.75, 4, or 4. I'm very reluctant to always give 5s. I don't give many 5s, but this one I really liked. There's twists to the whole book, twists and turns. So if you like that kind of thing, I recommend that one. The next one I read was Listen for the Lie. This was by Amy Tintera. Now this one was different in the fact that it was the way it was laid out. So it is it's following a podcaster who is trying to solve a cold case, and the whole thing is about this cold case. So you're going back and forth between the podcaster and the people that are part of the cold case. This was pretty interesting. I gave it more closer to the 3, only because I like the format, but I didn't like, there's a part of the main character that was just, it was different. I don't want to give it away, but it was different. This had some twists to it too. I love books that are like kind of mystery, twisty. You don't know what's happening. Sometimes you figure it out and sometimes you don't. This one, I kind of knew what was coming, but that one was good. Ask Again, Yes by Mary Beth Keane. This was about 2 families that the dads both were cops. So they ended up living next to one another, but there's just an oddness about one of the families, and then a very traumatic thing happens between the 2 families, and then it's all about resolving family issues and how life has to move on from the thing that happened. You know, I just don't want to give up what happened. This one I would have given a 3 also, maybe a 3.5. I did end up I thought this was a good book, and it wasn't so much as twists and turns. It was just about feelings and resolutions and making sure, you know, like emotion. It's a little bit of an emotional book. So it wasn't so much like a mystery whodunit and twists and turns. It was a lot of feelsies in this book. So the last book, I gave this one a 5. I don't remember where I heard about any of these books, but when I hear people talking about books that seem interesting, I put them on my Goodreads to be read list, and I will just go through that list once in a while and see if it's on the apps that I use, because not everything's always available in audio format on the apps, because I guess authors have contracts with like Audible or maybe with the libraries. I'm not quite sure how that all works, but A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham, super good. I gave it 5. I really enjoyed, it was very mysterious. The twists, I had an idea that it could have been this person, but then they would stray you back away and be like, no, it's definitely like this person. It made you keep second guessing who you thought whodunit was. Yeah. So the last 2 things I have to talk about are not book related, but life related. Well, entertainment related and then life related. So I'm gonna say we went and saw Beetlejuice the musical last night at the Hippodrome. John bought us tickets, his girls. So me and the 2 girls, our 2 daughters, we went to see Beetlejuice at the Hippodrome, and it's recommended age 13 and up, and now I know why. I know Beetlejuice, the movie, is vulgar and has innuendos and whatnot, but this had some more innuendos and some more vulgar type stuff. The thing I loved, if you have not seen this musical, and it's touring now, so if you get a chance to see it, I recommend it. I've seen other musicals, so I've seen Wicked, I've seen Jesus Christ Superstar, I've seen a few others, and I just can't think, Rent, but Beetlejuice, the main character, is very much engaged with the audience. It is almost like, I don't want to say it's a mix between a stand-up comedian and a musical, but that's the feel I got, because he would like make a joke or make a statement and then you wait for that audience reaction. It was good. It was a late night show, so it didn't start till 8. We were there till 10:30. Didn't even get home till 12 because we parked in the parking garage for the Hippodrome, which was the stupidest idea ever. But it was still, you know, I got to sleep in today because it's Saturday. So now the last thing I'm going to ask just people to be respectful and helpful advice is wonderful. But we were approached from my youngest daughter's school and a team of her teachers, advisors, etc. And we were approached by them about a grade advancement. Now, we've had issues in the past with, I don't want to say she's pretty smart. She's pretty smart, and we've had issues with her finishing her work, and then being fidgety and wanting, like, she wants to then help other students, which that's great and all, but then she's getting in trouble because there's behavior issues. Kindergarten was rough, and it took me that whole year to fully understand, to be able to advocate what was going on. And so once we got into the next 2 years, when I met with the teachers and there was forms to fill out about our child, I told them, I said, please, 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 if my child finishes her work or whatever you guys are doing, and there's like downtime for her, give her a job, because I don't need a repeat of what has already happened for us. And so her first grade teacher, I'm going to say right out loud, was amazing. And then we got through another school year. Well, then we were approached for the grade advancement. And so we told the school, yes, please just, we asked all the relevant questions. We did our research. We made sure with the school that she was going to have every support system available, because I do not need her to get to this next grade and it be there's no support. Okay, so this has all been discussed. We had meetings and everything else, telephone calls. So they submitted her paperwork, because you have to submit it to the county and then it has to be approved. Well, they told us all the options that could happen. It could be approved and we can say yes or we can say no, or it can not be approved and then she just gets put into advanced placement classes, which that would have happened if we didn't choose the grade advancement anyway. But long story short, we're doing a grade advancement, and I know there's horror stories and I know there's great stories, and I've heard them and I've not heard them all because everybody's story is a little different. But again, if you can just, we as a family have made a collective choice, and not without her voice either. Like, her voice has been heard about it, and we are taking all the appropriate steps to make sure that she is not going to struggle and feel like I don't want her self-esteem to be messed with further. If you can hear my stomach, I'm sorry. I don't want her self-esteem to be messed with in the aspect of her and her ability to do her work. You know, there's all these other factors that mess with self-esteem and things like that. So the support system is there. And we have been, this summer, it's only been part of a month, but we have already been doing workbooks and pages, and we've been doing everything as a family to make sure that she is ready to go. So I just know I'm putting this out on the internet, and I know people have opinions, and I do value people's opinions and respect people's opinions, but I just also need the people that are watching me and support me to know that we have done collectively within our family and extended family that we have talked to about this, and friends that are really close with us, that this is the choice we're making. So, so I just hope, I'm not afraid to delete a comment, I'm just saying. So, I've done it before, and I'll do it again. So, all right, that was a lot, and there was a lot of life stuff and not a lot of crafting stuff. So, I can't really apologize because I just haven't had the time to do it all. And I promise I will be showing you more in the future, and I want to be more consistent. It just wasn't in the cards for these past 2 weeks. So thank you to all my returning viewers and any new viewers that have watched this whole video, because the one thing I've always said on here is that this is real life, this is my family, and I'm just putting it out there. And, I'm not sugarcoating things, and I'm not also trying to curate this perfect life, because we all have stuff going on behind the scenes, and, I can't be that person that is curating this perfect life to put out on the internet, because that's not real to me, and I just can't do it. So thank you for everything, everyone, and I appreciate all the support that I've had in the past for different decisions that we've put out here on the internet to you guys. So, all right, that's what I have to show you and tell you about, and I am hoping to, like I said, be more consistent. I also have some cranking videos I'm going to be doing. Not everybody's here for the cranking, so I always do them as a separate video. So thank you, and I don't think I have any clips to show you at the end of this. So when this is over, it's over. I hope you are doing the things that you want to do, whether that's scrolling on your phone, reading books, cooking, crafting, getting outdoors, and, making sure you just are checking in on the people that you love. And until the next episode, peace, love, and happy knitting, y'all.